Gut Bucket Blues. You know, a lot of people get intimidated by slide playing. When I slide, I mean, I'm talking about bottleneck guitar. But if you look at it for like in sort of three different ways, I think, you know, that's the way I look at it. I learned listening to, you know, guys like Son House, you know, and some of the older blues guys, Lightning Hopkins, that kind of guy, Elmore James. And if you check out a lot of the younger slide players, whether it's Derek Trucks or, you know, whoever, or even guys like Ry Cooter, who's definitely no longer a younger guy, but he sure is a great slide player. The thing I was just talking to my partner Jason about slide, because he was asking me about playing in the key of G. You know, where do you go if you're doing like a G and an F? It's really the tone is the chordal tone is kind of a C scale. And I said, you know, I don't really get into like worrying about maps and names and all that too much, and even scales so much. I mean, I know scales, but once I know them and I understand them, then I get a chance to just feel them. And feeling it is where I think all the good stuff lives, right? So in this case, I've got my guitar tuned to open G. So this is, if you're interested in that, you don't have to necessarily play slide, but I'm going to do a little today just to give you the flavor of it. But so I got like a D, G, D, G, B, D, D, G, D, G, and then B, there's the pesky B string, and then a D note. And it ends up sounding like this, which is an open G chord of sorts. Now you've heard that before. What's cool about that chord is you can get all kinds of sort of that get all that country stuff going if you want. Another guy who plays slide, I think really beautifully, doesn't get a lot of, I don't hear it mentioned much, is Mark Knopfler. You know, even back in the Dire Straits days, Water of Love, and trying to think of some different songs that he played slide on. More in his solo thing, I think. But he's got that beautiful Brothers in Arms guitar, you know. It's a National Resophonic, like this one. It's slightly different. It's got little diamonds in it. But in fact, I think they might even have made a model. But that being said, this is Stacy. This is my Resophonic. It's a Style O. I've had the guitar for a while. I think I've had this in 1990, whatever that is. What is that, 35 years? Jeez. This guitar has been all over the planet with me. It's been on a zillion different tours, traveled to South America and Europe and all that. And she's had her share of bumps and scratches here and there, but I kind of like that, actually. Like the first scratch you get on your guitar, it's like, oh, it's like a new car. It's like, okay, now I can relax. But that being said, what I want to talk about today is, you know, playing in the key of G with open G tuning is sort of a luxury, because you got all those open strings, and they're pretty much all going to work, whether you just stay in G or whatever you do. So what I would recommend if you're into open tuning and you want to learn a little basic slide, understand a couple of things. There's three things that I think is important to understand. One is when you run a slide, when you're playing slide, it's a little bit counterintuitive because we're used to hitting between the frets, right? That's where we play guitar. So on either side, you know, you walk up, you're playing right in the middle. That's just the way we play, right? That's how you voice a guitar. However, with slide guitar is different. You actually play over the fret. So if I do that, it sounds something like this. I'm playing like an open G, and I want to hit a bar C chord, which is just nothing more than that. Fifth fret, right? But I want to do it with my slide. You got to go, you can't hit it here. It's flat, isn't it? You got to hit it here. Now, if you can see, I think you can, I'm over the fret. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're over the fifth fret. So that's the first thing I had to figure out when I started playing slide. It's like, oh, so you don't play like regular guitar, you go up to the next fret of wherever you are, and that's how you hit a note. And you can hear it, like, if I do, that ain't gonna cut it. I'm right in the middle of the fret here. This has to be here, doesn't it? Now, one of the things other part, I'm talking about three parts, a vibrato is really important. Now, you don't have to overdo the vibrato, because whether it's singing or playing, I feel like, for me, I like a slow vibrato or no vibrato, mostly. Now, there are exceptions if you're doing like kind of a real like sting. Well, I don't mean Sting the singer, I mean like Sting in the guitar. That's cool. It's almost kind of comical, isn't it? It's like a little comedic relief. Or it can get kind of whimsical, this thing. But if I want to just do like a really right-on blues lick and I want to go, come up to it. There's just so many different things. And the thing about slide is, the best slide players, in my estimation, guys like Derek Truck, they play slide and it sounds like somebody's singing. You know, they sounds like sounds like an old R&B singer. So that's two. Number three, about, and there are many other aspects to slide guitar, certainly whether it's electric or acoustic. Now let's talk about muting with slide guitar. I mute with both hands, okay? And the reason for that is if you don't mute, it sounds like this. No, that ain't gonna fly. So what I do is I use my right hand as a muting machine here, as a dampening thing, right? Sometimes I'll get my whole hand involved in different ways, but I also use these fingers because I play slide with my pinky, so I can use these fingers behind the slide, like Sonny Landreth does. Sounds like a fiddle. But I also do it to stop the extraneous noise behind the slide and in front of it. Otherwise, it can get away from me. A lot of people struggle with that. So by using these fingers ever so slightly, you know, I just really brush them against the strings. But listen to the difference from this to this. Now, what I'm doing, I'm really muting with my left hand. I know mostly we mute with our right. Speaking of Keith Richards, you know, he does a lot of, you know, he'll mute this way, he'll dampen the strings. But I like to do it with my left hand in regards to slide, because that way I can articulate a note and it really be heard. So it'd be like the difference between this. Sometimes that's okay, a little rattle and hum. But if I want it clean, I want to go. Now look what I'm doing with my right hand. I've got it all hooked around the strings, and I'm dampening all these 5 strings so that I can hit that high E string. I don't want this sound. Everything banging and ringing out. It just doesn't really cut through the mix. So I do that in many different ways, but part of it is I'll grab the strings like this, and I'll mute them. So I just do it by... That's some advanced stuff there, I get. But I wanted to give you just today an example of what you can do with slide guitar, especially if you got a blues machine like this baby. Like this one's signed by John Lee Hooker, the JLH there. I did a duet with him, and I'm looking at his picture right now up there. That's a whole other story for another day, but very fortunate to have met and played with him. There's a bunch of shows with him too. So anyway, I'm going to give you an example now. I'm going to play it out. And if you like the idea of open tuning, whether you play slide or don't play slide, or if you like the idea of slide guitar, I got a couple courses out there that'll on jimmydillon.com. So if you go to my website, I got one called what's it called, Rockin' the Blues, and then there's something about what's the slide one? Something about rockin' slide guitar or something. But you'll see it all on my page. My partner Jason does a great job getting that available. So if you're interested, check me out. And before I leave you today, I just want to say this is a lot of fun for me. I love coming up in my studio and just, my cat's sitting over there, so it's like a down-home scene. And no, I'm not in a sauna, as you can see. It's just Grandpa's old barn, and I'm in the second story. So that being said, here we go with some funky Gut Bucket Blues, and I'm gonna take you out with that. Catch you down the road.